So in the last video, what we did was basically set up basic movement components, and now we can finally move in the map. But we are located inside the character and that looks a bit strange. So let's go to tools and open up a rider, and if you're using maybe Visual Studio, then open up Visual Studio and we should be up in a minute. And here we have it. Now let's go to base character.h and we will set up a spring arm and also a camera component. So we can do that in the protected section and we need to make it visible anywhere. And we can even do that in a public section. So let's make it in u property, uh, visible anywhere, blueprint read only. Now don't make it edit anywhere, because then it will unlock a hell lot options in the blueprint and you won't be able to have it like a normal blueprint class settings. So we want it to be a normal blueprint class settings, and that's why we are making it uh, visible anywhere blueprint read only. And we will also pass in the category as components, and then we will make, let me just get back. Okay, so the setup is complete. Now let's add a U spring arm component, and we have this. And now you will notice we get a header attached, and that is a game framework spring arm component. So yes, and then we will make a star and just name this spring arm component. Now here we get getting an issue with the U property. Okay, so we added a R and it should be category, and yes. Same way we will just copy this line, because for the camera also we will be having the same line, and we will write U camera component and we will attach this. And we will name this camera component, and yes, done. Now save all, get to your base character.cpp, go to the initializer, that means the constructor, and in the constructor just create a default sub object for both. So we will make a spring arm component equal to create default sub object, and we will pass in the u spring arm component. And here we will pass the text for our name. That means what we want to call this spring arm, and we can name this just the spring arm. And then we will get this spring arm component, set up attachment, and we'll attach it to the mesh. So we will just get the mesh and attach it there. Now we will get the camera component and create default sub object for that, and we will name this u camera component, and we will call this text and name this camera. And we can just name this first person FP camera maybe, uh, because it's a true first person game, so we can just name this first person camera. And now we will attach this camera component to our spring arm. So we will just make it set up attachment, and we will attach it to the spring arm component, and done. Save all, and let's just play. Let me just check if the editor is open. Yes, it is. In the next run, we will just save, create a new level for that, so that we don't need to like run on an untitled level. It's again open. Let's close that. Now we have the monitor up. So, sorry, the screen up. And now let's firstly, what I promised is let's create a new level, basic level, and we can just save this as test level, and we will save this in the main content folder. So basically the main testing level, I always save that in the main folder, so it's easy. Just don't like, you don't need to open any folder and you have to access only one thing, and just save. And now we have a player start? Nope. Let's go basic player start and add a player start here. Now if I run, so we have something, we are now getting attached to the bottom of the player. So let's open our character, that is the BP character. Let's open the full blueprint component, and now we have the spring arm component and the camera component also. So let's rotate the spring arm firstly, and bring the camera at the top, maybe at 65, and then make the spring arm length to be 0 and a little up here. And let's check, and yeah, we can move. So it's a little bit uh, like lagging, like the some part of the skin is getting in touch, although we will fix that. But for now, the temporary fix is just to check, and move this a little left and a little out. And now we can run. Yes. And now the next thing is we will add uh basically turning animation. We have not added turning, so even if we can play, we cannot turn any side. So let's add that. So the easiest method to set up the turning thing is, so we will just go to our base character.h, sorry, cpp, and we will bind this lookup and turn to, basically this lookup will be binded to add controller pitch input, add controller pitch input, and the turn would be add controller yaw input. So although later we can have a custom function which we already had, so that should not be a issue, and we can just pass this up. And it's successfully linked, and we should be able to, yes, we are able to look up and down. Oh no, the up and down is not working. So one axis is not working. So let's check the project settings, input, and axis mappings. We have lookup custom. We have that mouse Y, and turn custom mouse X. Let's copy this and go to our character class defaults, scroll down, and okay, so that is set up correctly. So that should not be an issue. uh let's do one thing, press Ctrl Z and make it back to lookup. Now go in the lookup section, and for lookup we will make call add controller pitch input, and we will pass the access value. And because lookup was not working, we will just add a UE log. So basically it's like a print string, log temp, warning, text. Uh, we will just add s. So we are converting an f string from integer, and we will just write uh, int x's value. And we should also add a star here because it's a string. And for this we will call add controller your input, and we will pass the x's value. Let's save all and also check our player. So we will just close this and we will restart. Now we have this open. Let's open our BP. Hopefully this time it will work. And yes, open the test level and play. It's still not working. We need to open the, let me just press shift F1 so that I can get the mouse controller and check the output. So it's printing 0. It's not even taking my mouse value. Is everything correct in this code line? Okay, so when we added this, we got one more event, that is look up down mouse button. So let's copy that and try. So I added the example pack and this thing got added too. So we can add it in, yeah, look up down, and it is still not working. Although it gave the value correctly. So basically the issue was I forgot, really forgot, just we need to enable that in our camera settings. So let's just go to the camera settings and enable use spawn control rotation. And yeah, now we are able to see. Yeah, this is something strange, but we will fix that. And if you move, it looks like you're running very smoothly, but if you look down, it's like something is not looking good. So the easiest method to do this is, basically we cannot do this from here because it's inherited from C++. So we will close this up, and this component, this is setup attachment, should be attached to the character. And let's make this, we will now make a text and pass in head as the base component. So now this will get attached to the head of the mesh. So this way this will get attached. And now if you're thinking, why are we using spring arm? So this is so that if you are creating a game like PUBG, you can easily change the values at runtime and make it a third person or a first person experience, depending upon what you want with the game. So let's now press play, and yeah. Now let's open our class and let's see if it gets attached. And yeah, it did get attached. Something pretty looks like wrong. So we will just reset the location and rotation also. And now if you're thinking that would be wrong, let's check what it looks like in our test level. So if you see in the test level, the camera is now moving and you can feel that. And also it's in the correct direction. Everything looks pretty good. Now we will fix this camera looking down and looking completely up. We will make it more like a natural movement and also fix that issue where you can see the mesh of the character. And what we can do for now is just move the camera a pretty little bit front so that during running we cannot see that. And yes, that fixes most of the issue, but we will still restrict it till here so we can see the hands and maximum till up here. So that is it for this video. Let's move on to the next one.